From Led Zeppelin to Deep Purple. From everything harmonic minor to melodic minor to natural minor. All the way down to a diminished harmonic fucking whatever the hell you fucking damn well please, laddie. And then you come down from the bowels of hell and you feel it right up through the spine, lad. Right through the spine. It's goddamn metal music.
Hi, I'm Brian Posehn and I'm a comedian, but most importantly, I got shot in the fucking face in Devil's Rejects.
Yeah!
And you're watching Monsoon Radio, hot as hell.
Hot as hell!
That's what I said. Hot as hell.
Hi, this is Otep, and you're watching Monsoon's Radio's Hot as Hell.
Hey, this is Greg from Sacred Reich, and you are tuned in to Monsoon Radio.
Okay. Yeah, this is Jimmy Beam from Dio and Rainbow and a bunch of other bands too. You're listening to Monsoon Radio.
This music is so kick-ass. They just had to document it, and it's great to show everyone. So, let's get this going. Turn the lights off, light up the candles, definitely turn up the volume, and watch Monsoon Radio's Hot as Hell.
This is a song that we wrote about this state. We happen to love Arizona, so we wanted to write something from the heart, and this is it. This is called Arizona.
Smoked weed, light metal.
Where do you want to go with St.Madness?
I want to go wherever it goes. If people love St.Madness, we'll stay out there till there's one person left that loves it. You know, that's where we're at with it. It's in our heart. We'll just keep putting it out there. People love it, hate it, whatever. We're still going to keep putting it out there.
Great show tonight. Definitely a great show. And I'm going to ask you a few questions here, my friend.
Okay.
St.Madness. Now, how did St.Madness form?
Initially, we were called Bloody Murder back in 1993. And for whatever reason, we changed the name to Crown of Thorns, and we were that till 97. And we had planned to keep Crown of Thorns, but we found out there was a Christian rock band in New Jersey that trademarked the name in 91, so there was no fight. We couldn't fight for it. But our album out at the time was called The Spiritual Visions of St.Madness, so we changed the name of the band to St.Madness.
What sets St.Madness apart from other local metal bands?
I don't know. Well, we wear face paint. We kill people on stage. We're constantly changing.
Now, what is the strangest thing, the craziest thing that has happened in playing in St.Madness?
Well, okay, craziest thing for me is my son is now a part of the crew, and he's an actor on stage. And at 16 years old, he was already signing women's breasts, and he worked in an arena show. And he's on a record. He's on almost all of our records, his voice, ever since he was a little baby, basically. So to have him up on stage with us now is an awesome feeling. It's an awesome feeling.
Any final words for the fans?
Thanks all of you for all your support as always. And
keep it fucking metal. And never say die. Ever.
Hey, I think that's the question.
In the past,
you think I stopped drinking?
And
man.
what kind of bands were you looking to, and what were you looking for bands coming into your club back in those days?
Well, we're looking. The first thing is somebody with a talent. You know what I mean? No matter what color or whatever, you know, just good talent. Looking talent. And somebody that have it. My appreciation to every band who ever existed there, whoever was there, that was, you know, to be a performance, whoever gets on stage, you know, and do their thing, that it takes a lot of, you know, it's not just easy just doing something, you know.
Definitely.
And then things they'll come along, you know, as I say. One of my favorite things was always give a chance to young kids, you know.
Yeah.
Get on stage, and you know, and then they became something. To me, it was a very, very personal thing. I could have so many of bands, you know.
Shit, we're out of here. Got Twitty. What's up, brother? You running behind? I'm heading over there right now. Bring some water, man. It's hot as hell.
Video bonus. How to play the American way.
Starts out with a kick-ass harmonic.
Now, it's important that you notice, look, notice the barring of the chords. Notice the barring of the chords.
It is not.
All right, notice that. And now notice the timing. Listen closely. Play it slow for the people at home.
2, 3, 4.
There was something you would change in the music industry. What would you change?
Only one thing.
There's many things you changed?
With the record industry, it doesn't matter anymore. Because I think what happened is I don't think people want to pay for music. They feel like it's something they should get for free, download it. So it changed the whole dynamic. So if people don't want to pay for what they're doing, then there is no industry. So it's all built on that.
Now, if you were to change one thing about the music industry, what would you change?
If I could change one thing about the music industry, I would make it where we get paid in pixie sticks. I think probably mostly grape. It's such a good question that I don't have a good answer, so I'm going to fucking fudge it.
Oh, but I know you like slushies, man, for sure.
How about it?
You like slushies,
yeah.
man.
I mean, I toyed with the idea, maybe we go back and make it where MP3s were never created, but they're really fucking convenient, so that's not it. It didn't fuck up music. It's probably making it better. It's just made it tough for the whole record label. You know, you guys see what AC/DC just did, right? No? No. They did a deal with Walmart, and they released a record that goes only through Walmart for like the first year or something, and they eliminated any record companies, and they just went straight to the distributor. They got an advance for the first press of 500,000, so on day one it was gold. 500,000 copies distributed across Oklahoma. So I mean, you know, the way the music business has changed, that's physical evidence of some wacky ways of going about getting your record out. So we're getting in touch with Toys R Us. I just
Jason, you're going on tour now in Europe and kicked off these 2 Monsoon shows. Thanks a lot for the opportunity in Tucson as well as here in Scottsdale. And I wish you the best of luck on European tours. And thanks again. Now, what was the craziest thing that you can remember in Sacred Reich that has happened?
Oh, God. God, I'm on the spot with that one. Probably some bomb threat by the IRA in Northern Ireland. The whole city on shutdown, and we're, you know, walk back to the venue to find out that it was our show, and they're like, yeah, you know, it's a sign of they respect you, they like you and shit. So I was like, okay, bomb threat, the IRA. What's gonna happen next? I'd like to thank Monsoon Radio and you especially for making this tonight a special night. It's gonna send us off to Europe to do Whacking Festival, which is pretty damn big, and I think this is probably going to set it in the right course. You know
that was the whole idea, my friend.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for this opportunity, Jason. Really appreciate it, man.
Thank you, bro.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
I'm in, bro.
Yeah. Where'd you come from, man?
Goose Bay, Oregon. Awesome.
Came here.
Fuck yeah, for Sacred
Reich.
Oh yeah,
No
number one.
doubts,
Number one.
All right, and one time in playing with 12-ton Sledge, what is the craziest thing that you guys have ran across, man? What is the most wickedest thing in a show? Somebody got their jaw busted or something?
I remember driving to a show to Colorado Springs, and our drummer was driving the van, and he fell asleep at the wheel. That was nice. And our guitar player grabbed him and it's like, hey, dude, right before he went off the cliff and killed us all. So, yeah, that's pretty wild, and that's something that sticks in my mind for a long time, for sure.
What would you change about the local?
No barriers at the bars. I hate that. I hate that, like, when we're doing a show and people that want to pit can't pit. You know, they're kept behind a bar. You know, if you're all ages, everybody should be able to come up front. You know, I'd love to see all our people down up front. And when they have those barriers up there, it's a barrier between us and our people. It sucks. Because I like to be close.
Right on. Ask you, brother, what do you like about the local Arizona music scene?
The fucking pits!
The best metal in all the fucking world!
You know, when it comes to mosh pits, talking about mosh pits, all right? Controlling mosh pits.
Controlling mosh pits. Mosh pits are easy to control because most of the time the people in the mosh pits police themselves. You know, they're there to get their energy out, to release whatever anger, whatever issues they have to get out. So they let the music fuel their adrenaline and then they go at it. But at the same time, everybody's there to have a good time. So you're picking people up, you're knocking people down. It's all about the mosh.
I'm Mistress Julia, and you're watching Monsoon Radio's Hot as Hell. I've seen some crazy mosh pits, and listen, the thing is that I love about the metal scene, that I think it's really important for people out there who are not familiar with metal to understand, is that we get our anger out in the pit, you know? We are, like, we don't come slinging guns and, you know, doing that kind of shit. Like, yeah, there's drunken brawls, as in any bar, in any genre, but we're not violent like that. I think metalheads are very, you know, they're very melancholy, angry people on one hand, but on the other hand, we're all kind of a team. We're like the shunned society, and we stick together as an army of one. And I would say 98% of the time, people are helping people in the pit, and people are just there to have a good time. If you don't want to be in the pit, and when you're in a situation like that, you might get hit in the face and you might lose some teeth. That's just how it goes. If you don't want to be in that pit, nobody's ever gonna fucking force you, and nobody will ever look down on you. I don't go into pits anymore for the past 8 years. Doesn't mean that I don't love metal. And so I think it's a community that's it's a very extreme community. It's an extreme type of music, and we like to release our stress in an extreme kind of way instead of going out there and going postal and shooting people or having some fucking gang wars. So I think mosh pits are some of the best forms of therapy there is.
We are THC, and this is us. We've been together, how long have we been together?
Almost 5 years.
5 years. Edit that out. We've been together 6 months.
5 weeks, actually.
So keeping everything in perspective, we've been amazingly busy.
Definitely. I don't know, you've played a couple Monsoon radio shows already, and I mean, it's been great times. You guys came there and thrown down the people, really enjoy what you're playing here. And now, if there was something that you could change about the local Arizona music scene, you know, what would you guys change?
The apathy. It's Arizona. The Arizona scene is so apathetic. People don't come out. It's hard to, and you know, it's hard to say what the fix is because, you know, once you're in here, man, even I'm part of that. Yeah. It's hard to get you. It's hard to get me out to a show. It's hard to get everybody out to a show.
Right.
People don't get excited about the bands, and there's exceptions, of which we are going to be one.
We're going the long road. It's the school of thought that says if you show up and kick ass consistently, people will come.
Yes.
Kind of like building casinos in the desert. If you build them, they will come.
Yeah, that's
We
right.
know Las Vegas ended up doing pretty well.
Yes.
So we're patient.
Then and just getting bands to join the group together instead of battling so much. Not really battling, but the scene. There's so many genres of metal that a lot of them clash. Like those bands don't like these bands because of this or that. If that would start changing, it would help the entire music scene.
Going out and touring a little bit and doing some different stuff with Pantera, Jason Newsted. You know, what's some different really things that happen with Dimebag?
Dimebag. Actually, I think authentically my favorite tour was the Boulder Display Power Tour with Pantera. We were supporting, we had local bands. We had a band called Genitortures who traveled with us for 5 of 6 weeks. And then the last week we had local bands from each city on the #1 position. And we were consistently right before them. So we had a full stage, full sound check, full lights, and a full-on kick-ass time. But some unique experiences with Dimebag that I would share, besides the pleasure of sitting on the side of the stage and watching his magic, because he's an outrageous player, but more into his personality, is he got a real kick out of paying strangers to drink bottles of Tabasco sauce and any other wacky shit you can find at the Korean market at 3 a.m. after a show. There was another kid who'd been working on his car, like evidently for a week, trying to have that car ready by the time Pantera got in town. And it was like an '86 Camaro. Mostly Bond, or it was straight, but a lot of gray, some Bondo work, and a lot of primer. But the thing sounded great and had a kick-ass stereo, had headers to the back, motor was blowing out. He doesn't have no money for paint. Dimebag really digged the car. He says, well, actually, he didn't say shit. The kid said, "Drive it!" And they're looking at each other like, are you serious? He ends up going out in this parking lot of the venue we had played at. Where the fuck were we? I want to say Pittsburgh. I don't know, I can't remember where the hell we were. But it was a big parking lot. Now it emptied out. 5,000 kids left. Huge fucking parking lot. He starts spinning fucking donuts all over the place. Brings back the car. It's got scraps for back tires, blowing smoke. And the kid had him sign the hood and said he was going to park it and never drive it again.
Now, I think you mentioned something about meat. Wasn't it something about meat? Like putting a steak
still on the Pantera show.
Yeah, like a little steak
our last night of the tour, our last show of the tour, there are a lot of practical jokes going on. And about midway through our set, we noticed a lot of people in the front row stopped singing along with our great songs and were pointing past us and giggling a lot, and a lot of this elbow like pointing like that. So about, I don't know, halfway through the third song, I turn around and they had bought 4 sheets and spray painted on them and dropped over our $10,000 fire retardant, safe in 12 country freaking backdrop, covered it with sheets with a similar looking skull logo, and where our logo would say Sacred Reich, it said "Suck it right." Pretty close. So we played the remainder 40 minutes of our set with that backdrop. And then, they'd come by with security shit and devil masks and like try to pick us up, pull us off the stage till our wirelesses wouldn't work. They're just really causing havoc like a bunch of freaking gremlins. So we came off the show and we were only half prepared. We didn't realize that they wanted to play. So we lucked out. There was a magic shop. I evaded the meat question. This is how we knew we had to play rough. At one point, I go up to play a guitar solo. I got a MIDI pedal, run out to the front of the stage, and 122's crunchy channel, 123 is my guitar solo. It's got delay on it. I need it. Here comes the solo. I come walking up. Stage lights are flickering. I can't see anything but a pile of meat with a MIDI cable coming off from under it. So I grabbed the cable and I pulled it. And sure enough, Dimebag had put about 6-8 pounds of ground beef over my foot pedal. So I was trying to kick it, and then my guitar tech came out, looked at me, shook his head no, and just stuffed the meat right into the buttons. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Just play. There's ketchup on your cabinets. You're worried about that?" I'm like, "What?" It's ketchup on all the cabinets. He had holsters, I think, with condiments. Mustard, ketchup, and I was like, "Oh, it's that thing with the rope and a knot." No, it was ketchup and mustard. So we got it pretty bad. Later that night, though, we got him back. There's actually videotape of this somewhere. I hope will come out someday just because it's an authentic good time. We came out on a stage during, I think, Walk. There were 8 of us with bald heads, and then we wrote different things to kind of look like Phil and Samo, and one of them was like Uncola. Wacky shit that made no sense, and that sort of thing. And then later in the set, This Love, which starts out with the clean channel, and then it gets pretty freaking aggressive. Well, just before it switches into the aggressive part, we'd gotten these humongous bubble blowing, or actually they were big wands and buckets of soap that we put in front of industrial fans. So we're blowing a shitload of bubbles across the stage, and then Sama was in his traditional hunched over the monitor, connecting with a few girls, and guys were wishing they were him, just like every night. It was great. And he looks up over, he's like tough as nails. He looks up over and he realizes he's enveloped in bubbles. And you can see it immediately occur to him that it's impossible to be fucking tough with bubbles floating all around you. So he shook it off, smiled real big, and then they went on to have a crushing set. And we fucked with them a little bit more, but I think that's the story you were fishing for.
Yeah, cool stuff. Cool stuff right there.
That's the best way you can go,
Cool. That's what metal's all about, man. Cool, excellent.
Something but
all right, Kat, you and Diane, man.
You wouldn't know.
You guys are awesome in this scene, man. You guys kick ass all the time. Hey, let me ask you about this. Where do you think metal music is going right now?
To the fucking top.
I love that. You got, woo! It's all over you, man. Right on, brother. Right on, Scott.
Monsoon Radio!
Scotty Mosh Pit! What is it that you like about the local Arizona music scene?
Sectus.
Sectus.
See? Right here.
Yeah, brother. Excellent set tonight, as a matter of fact.
Thank you very much.
Kicking back right here with Sectus. And so, talking about it, now, if there was one thing that you could change in the local Arizona music scene, what would you change?
That's punk music.
No.
What was that?
I would say more original bands, less emo, less
less emo.
More originality. That's what I would say. I mean, there's a lot of good bands, but they don't get the support they deserve because all the people is supporting the wrong bands. That's just what I.
Okay.
Great bands.
Do you have any rules when it comes to bands' behavior?
Actually, the only thing I ask people is treat me half as good as I do you, and it'll never be a problem. I've been doing music here for 7 years, and pretty much, that's the only rule, man. It's because I go out of my way to make sure bands leave here happy, because there's no better business for me than 6 guys out there touring that are talking nothing but positive about my bar, you know. So that's pretty much the only rule I have.
Now, if there was something that you could change about the local Arizona music scene, is there anything that you would change personally? You know, whether it be promoters, sponsors?
The biggest things I'd like to see change, other than support, of course. Seeing more people in the clubs, more people out there supporting what these guys are doing. Band camaraderie.
Yeah, band camaraderie.
This isn't a battle. You're not trying to be better than everybody else. You're all doing the same thing. You're all making music. You all have passion for something. Work together. Make it happen. Build it as one. Not these separate little factions. It's bullshit.
Exactly.
We all got to work together to make this what it used to be when the clubs were packed by 9 o'clock with 400 people and you were getting turned away if you showed up late. I want to see more people again and see the bands working together again. See everybody helping everybody out. Promote each other's shows. Go see each other play. You know, nothing helps the scene more than the bands that are in the scene.
And let's talk about, I always ask this question, you know, if you could think of like one of the craziest things that you could think about while you're on tour, or something that really stuck out in your mind that you're like, wow, that really blew my mind. You remember when this person, or something that came up that, you know, really stuck out in your mind?
Oh, there's all kinds of sure.
Endless.
Yeah. It's like,
Well, especially as a
like-
result of the movie.
Yeah,
Jesus. Out of control. Celebrities and you name it. I mean, one of the most incredible moments I think I've ever had in my life, we were at the Critics' Choice Awards, and Paul McCartney was sitting at a table, I'd say just maybe 20 feet from us. And I'm looking at Sir Paul and I'm going, I got to meet that guy if it's the last thing I do.
Nice.
I got up from the
That's awesome.
table. I said, well, let's go meet Paul McCartney right now. So he says, okay, let's go. So we start heading over to Paul McCartney, and up from a table comes Quentin Tarantino, who's now grabbed my arm, okay? Lips, I love your fucking movie, man. And it's like,
That's great.
I want to get to Paul McCartney. Yeah, cool. I love your movie, man. I don't know how they want to fucking give that award to some movie about dolphins. He's talking about The Cove, you know what I mean? Because I guess at that time, the Anvil movie versus the Cove. Anyway, to make a long story short, I'm sort of beat off. Get off me, Clinton.
Right.
I'm going to meet Paul McCartney. I mean, what a moment. You know what I'm saying? We walk up to Paul McCartney, looks at us, and goes, "It's the Anvil boys. Are we rocking tonight?" It's like, holy shit, he knows who we are, man.
That's cool.
Yeah, we knew exactly who we were.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And then we asked him if we, wanted to smoke a joint. And he actually
He said that would be a great idea, and the entourage, the people that were with him go, no. They just ushered him out. Oh, not right now.
This is Lips from the band Anvil. You're watching Phoenix Rising. You know it.
All right, we're standing back right here. Now, talking about Gray Days, actually. Now, how did you guys first meet? It was high school that you guys met in, and how did you get together and form Gray Days?
Actually, we met. I'm deciphering that the best that I can. I'm not sure who's more wasted, me or you, but that's cool. But actually, we got together through a guy who I don't even know was a mutual friend of either one of ours, which is really funny. He remember Chris Hewlett?
Chris Hewlett, yep.
Chris Hewlett was a guy who picked on me my entire life, and probably didn't really like Sean that much either. But he happened to know us both separately, and he was like, "Hey, you two idiots would be really cool together." I swear to God, that's probably what he was thinking. And so we got together and we started a band called ST and His Friends, and we rocked out.
You need to erase that part.
We rocked out with our cocks out for like about 6 months. Then we decided to change the name because it wasn't.
It was embarrassing.
Now, do you guys plan on getting together and doing some side stuff, some side work, or?
Well, I'm gonna answer all the questions.
That's your question to answer.
Actually, Sean and I are going to get up tonight and play together in Bucket of Weenies, which is actually not really a side project, but it is because we preferred a bucket of weenies on the side of any entree that we ordered. But, anyways, we haven't really talked about it. You know, really what we're all about right now is club tattoo, just hanging out, throwing killer parties, making the sweetest ink on people's skin, you know, shoving needles through people's bodies.
Yeah, which is a question. Now, do you have any piercings done by Sean?
Do I? I've been pierced actually a couple times by Sean. I've let my ears be pierced and then grow back and then pierced and then grow back a few times. I had my nipples done at Club Tattoo, which was probably the worst mistake of my life. But actually, if you want your nipples done, it's the best place to go.
Right
there. Wait, I didn't say that.
Now, in 10 years. Now, this is the 10-year anniversary of Club Tattoo, and I was going to ask you, in 10 years, where do you see yourself? What do you see yourself doing in 10 years?
25,000 fucking people right here. Actually, you know what? Our friend Jeff, who owns Acme, is in charge of another spot that he's under the fucking weather. Told me that there's probably about 10,000 people that he could squeeze inside. And I said, you know what? Then in that case, next year, we're on.
Right on, great.
Bucket Weenies Part 2.
I'm not sorry!
None of you know this fucking song, but sing along anyways, because you fucking all rock!
And talking about the music industry, Franco, if there's one thing you could change about the music industry, what would you change?
I wouldn't change anything because I think as we all know, that music is like a wheel. You know, it goes around and it just changes by itself. Nothing I can change or I wish, because it never can be. Music can never be a repeat. It can never be the same. As the wheel turns and then stops and then another generation comes, you know what is, if you ask me what's this music today, you know, if I can bring somebody who is my idol, Rob Halford, you know.
Right on. And fight back in those days, fight and, you know.
Jimmy always was like, Franco,
right on.
No matter what, the show must go on.
Right on,
and
brother.
We used to see some of those pussy bands, you know, I don't think bring so many. But as soon as they hit the stage, they think they were a rock star already, you know. And then Robert goes, no matter what, if it's one person or it's a million people, they always perform the same and the show must go on.
Right.
Yeah.
Talking with Ben, Fracture Point right now, man. Where do you think the metal scene's going right now?
That way.
Nice.
way.
Exactly, brother.
It's going nowhere but up. Great bands, great venues, great promoters. Everybody's kicking ass out here in Arizona.
Ticket sales, man. You like ticket sales?
Depends on the show and whether or not I'm going to make money off of it.
Now, any advice that you could give to any local bands out there trying to make it in the industry?
Yes, get your real estate license.
Right on. If there was one thing, Eric, you could change about the music industry, what would you change?
Just one thing?
Bill said the same thing.
Holy shit. One thing I'd change. Wow. That's a tough one. There's so many things that need to be changed about the music industry. Everything about the music industry needs to be changed. I don't know.
The high school recruiter, man. That was my boy.
I guess split up how the money's made a little more evenly. The talent is the talent, and you can't make it without
about them. And for the most part, managements, agents, and labels are, anybody can learn that shit. Over time, anybody can learn that job. And there's not really a lot of talent involved. Talent should be paid more than the office work, basically. But it doesn't happen that way.
What was the big break? The big break for Flotsam and Jetsam, man, coming out of Arizona.
We're still waiting for the big break. We're still waiting for the big break for Flotsam.
I come from the same, like I was part of the land, generated for tornado. You see, but don't know what to do. But you just tell me where you are. You can run, but get out there. We fly like bull and drink on hell. It's your memory. You've been told they never show me real. That made me almost break it down. Don't you open, show you what you are. See you wanna live like you don't think I'm alive. What I even
This is AK from Flotsam and Jetsam, listening to Monsoon Radio's Hot as Hell.
Hey, who let this pop through the door?
Monsoon Radio fucking rocks! Give me free fucking tickets right now!
It's all goods is in the house, brother. Right on, it's all good.
Oh, you're on camera, Matt. Oh, shit.
Let us blow your pipe.
America's Most Wanted's coming now, dude. Damn it.
Don't say my name.
And now, what band did you play with here?
I'm formerly of Quiet Riot.
Definitely.
Formerly of Bonham.
I'm formerly with Ike and Tina Turner, Jafria, Beach Boy Carl Wilson, Sam Kinison, Slash, and these guys. And then I still play with Ike Turner and the Kings of Rhythm.
And he plays with himself, too.
Nice. All right, a Monsoon Radio interview here, right here, with the Hollywood All-Stars. Definitely thanks a lot for taking the time out with us right now for doing this. Now, introduce yourself as well. What advice would you give to bands right now trying to make it in the scene here? In any scene, whether it be California, whether it be...
Don't even go for it. Good cause, but it's a scary business.
Yeah, I would say to write your own material and just be yourself. Don't try to be something that other people tell you what to do. You know, be yourself, because the crowd will pick up on that. They know if you're being fake or not. You know.
Now, I'd say stick to your guns and don't follow trends. And you have to rely heavily on the internet these days. You know, have to build up your own fan base, on MySpace, and your website, and YouTube, and that's all about.
It's a great tool that everybody's using.
You can't rely on the machine anymore. The machine's almost non-existent.
Right, and it's all about really actually putting out flyers and stuff like that as well. Going down to your local,
Watch out for the drugs, the sex, and and all the other things in between.
Just make sure you wrap it. Double wrap some states.
Right on.
Don't drink and drive.
The craziest thing, I mean, in talking about the different groups that you've been in, that has happened while you're on tour or something?
Hey, Carlos. Crazy things? Oh, there's been so many crazy things. God,
Tons of them,
I
I'm
probably
sure.
can't even say. There's been, girls chasing you around, just people following you around, stalkers, all kinds of crazy stuff happens in this business.
Definitely.
Well, the Bonham days, I mean, we were the offspring of Led Zeppelin, so you can imagine there were like months of my life that are a bit of a blur. So I always say it's kind of like I went through a dark tunnel and came out the other end not looking too much worse for wear. It was a lot of fun, though. I learned a lot. Now I learned what to do and what not to do. So,
I'd say a couple of my wild times was once getting a blowjob underneath the rainbow table at the Rainbow Bar and Grill, and an old porno star, Lois Ayres, and then getting and doing a stewardess one time on the plane. That was pretty cool.
With Cry, where at?
Probably in the club scene in Los Angeles. We got a label interest, and then we worked with them for a little while, and eventually got a deal about 6 to 8 months later. Probably that was in '82, end of '82.
Look at my fucking rat eye. Imagine putting that in your ass and sliding it out real smooth like, huh? Look at her hiney there, huh? You can tell I've had use of that fucking tail, goddammit. I pull that out real slow as I'm masturbating to some Maxim magazine with all them round heinies. You've seen them. I know you've seen them. They feel good and they look good. That's right. You want to eat them. That's because I'm tired of talking about it. And I'm tired of talking about it. Motherfucker, metal music lives in my blood.
Well, I'd like to see some of my favorite bands get out and, make their name tour, There are a lot of good bands. They're kind of, big fish in a small pond. In Phoenix, I'd like to see them get out and, get some more exposure across the United States,
Tour. Do a little bit of touring.
Yeah, do a little bit of touring, yeah, for sure.
If there was one thing you could change about the local music scene, and what would be, Derek?
He raises his hand.
Derek?
Go Derek.
Teacher, I'd have to say places to play.
Damn, that guy always gets the right answers. He always gets the right answer.
Damn, dude. How the fuck do you know that shit?
Yes,
we all we have
very
to do
much
is go
so.
out of town.
Yeah,
That's all we have for a choice now.
We've got a great camaraderie with every band.
What's the fucking word again?
Camaraderie. With every band we've ever played with, but we need more places to play. I definitely.
Our last and only metal venue just caught fire.
Burnt to the ground.
Down.
I'm Wayne. This is my place, Pinion Pines. Been here since God was a baby, early 30s. We had a little fire here in January, burned up real bad. We rebuilt it. Now we're open again. It's been open since May 14th. We do heavy metal every once in a while. We get other good bands come in. It's a nice, safe place to come. Everybody always has a good time.
It's a brotherhood.
Exactly. Yeah, we've
down
got
to fucking jam together no matter who the best band is or the worst band.
Ain't no battle.
It's getting out there. We're all under one goal.
Even if you
to make it.
Even
it's
if you
brotherhood.
suck, we're
You
down
know
to
what?
party with you.
Yeah.
It's all about this. It's all about that right there. You see
I
that?
said earlier, though, you know, there's a lot of good musicians out there who love to play music, and they like to party. They play good music, like to party. Well, we're good partiers who like to play music.
Good.
Last question.
Sex is the best
Last
I've ever
question.
had.
If you could resurrect one dead rock star,
Brad
who would
Noel.
it be?
Brad Noel from Sublime. Brad Noel's from Sublime. There's no one else for me. Who do you got?
John Bonham.
Fuck John Bonham. He was a good bassist, but no.
Right.
I don't think he's dead.
Hey.
Okay.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. This has been great.
No,
We've had a lot of
you
fun.
gotta redo that one.
Do you know who? No, you got to record this. Do you know who John Bonham is?
No. Okay, wait. In my defense, I've had way too much to drink tonight because we were filming for a DVD.
A fucking dumbass rabbit.
I could run next door and get paper.
All right. If you were to resurrect one dead rock star, who would it be?
John Bonham, put Zed back together. Yeah, that's what I'd do, man. Yeah, and I'd have a vodka bottle waiting right there. Yeah, and a bucket just in case. Never want to let him do it again.
Let me ask you this. If you were to resurrect one dead rock star, Franco, who would you resurrect?
I can't just point to one. To me, everybody's. I just can't have anyone. Yeah. I wish Tiny Tim would do that. I don't know. Just. No, I'm just
Right
kidding.
on.
I just hope everybody just take care of themselves the way they're supposed to, and I don't know, there's so many. I can't just point one. 'Cause I never point to one band that Pong or Metal the Meat Puppets or GBH or so many dead crazy bands that we used to have.
So, in lines of the metal scene, where do you think the metal scene is going right now?
It's getting heavier, dude. It's really cool, especially in Phoenix right now. I mean, if you go inside right now, there's a lot of fucking people in there. And there's metal being played, so it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Kick ass, brother. Awesome, man. Good to see you again.
We're gonna
brother.
keep drinking, Ted.
Yeah. All right, man. Kicking back right here now with the demo, man. Let's see. If you were to change one thing about the music industry, music industry, what would you change?
I don't know. I just wish there was a little more access to rock music. I think that a lot of the marketing of music today and where the money probably goes to market music goes into different kinds, hip hop, R&B. There's nothing wrong with that kind of music. I just think there's probably not enough in the hard rock kind of.
Well, with downloads, you know, I mean, it's like now there's downloads, but in that weird, you know, 2, 3, 4 year period, and it's still going on now, you know, illegal downloads. What ends up happening is people don't realize that when they're taking music, they're cutting off these bands that were just like concept bands. They're not trying to sell millions of records. They're just trying to do what they do. And what I liked about those bands is that they weren't going to try to make a hit, a song. It's just artistic. And when that kind of stuff's, you know, like the stealing and all that stuff, there's no extra money at labels to fund these bands that are just trying to be creative.
The MTV2 video. Excellent. Good stuff, man. It kicked ass.
Right on.
It's like, so tell me about the shooting that and what came down.
You know, it was pretty funny because if you look in the video, when we're doing the rooftop shots in Brooklyn, you can see the skies are real cloudy and gray. And as we were loading out that evening, the sun was just setting, and there was a terrible storm that actually happened as we were trying to get Andy's drums and everyone's guitar cabs and equipment back into our van. We put a plastic tarp over it, and actually it was just worse because the cars were driving by splashing water up on it before it was just loaded up on the side of the street in Brooklyn when it was raining. It was awful. That evening Andy decided he was going to quit the band because it was too mentally taxing.
Yeah, that caused like mad fucking, mad, you know, arguments,
heavy
like
stuff.
Almost the death of like a drummer where we had to get a new one.
We had to sit down and eat a couple of broiled chickens and eat some beans and rice and talk some sense into them to keep them going on the tour that we were on.
What would you change about the local Arizona music scene?
Hey, you know, to be honest with you, man, I think we're doing just great the way it is, you know, to be honest with you. There's a few hundred kids that have always been into it. There's always, you know, the descendants of those kids. And, you know, we're able to just consistently play and enjoy ourselves, which is ultimately the goal.
Look at this beautiful girl, my daughter running the door.
Fred! We love Fred! What's up? Monsoon! Yeah!
If there was one thing that you guys would like to change about the local Arizona music scene, what would you guys change?
Change? You know, fuck what the mainstream is, just fucking do what you feel, you know what I mean, the music.
Booze or weed?
Everything, baby. Bring it on. Both at the same time. While you're inhaling one, drink another. But
okay.
mainly, man, it's about music shit, dude. It's about making a form of music that ain't nobody heard. Doing it naturally. Oh, want to hit?
Yeah. Let's say if there was one thing, you know, in seeing, you know, the industry and stuff, if there was one thing that you think could change about the music industry, what do you think probably could change?
Well, I mean, there's so many things that could change. There's always so many problems, especially now with, you know, with downloading and everything. It's made it very difficult for, you know, record labels to have money to go out there and invest in a band. So that's a major problem right now. Back in the day, you know, there would be A&R people that would go out there and say, wow, I really love this band, we're gonna develop you. Right now there's no more development budget, you know, because everybody's downloading everything off the internet, so the bands are only making money through a different avenue. And so I guess it would be great if there was a better way to develop bands right now, but it's a weird time right now with the internet becoming so big, and record labels I think soon will be obsolete. So it's a weird time and people are figuring it out, I think.
We got 4 bands on a fucking show. It was 30 people in for this band, 30 people out.
Right.
30 people in, 30 people out. Nobody fucking stuck around. There was no camaraderie in the fucking scene.
And I get that all the time.
And,
You gotta
and that
support
shit,
everybody, man. Right,
that
right.
shit's coming back now, man. It's a lot of it is just getting fucking better. A lot of it started with that fucking Battle of the Bands shit that you put together and stuff. Got bands coming together as a whole, you know. fucking starting to play. You don't have to search for somebody to play with anymore. You know, when you need a slot open, you got an infinite number of metal bands to call on. You know.
You know me, but you don't know shit. You think you know me, but you don't know shit. You think you know me, but you don't know shit. You think you know me, but you don't know
I think the main thing is just people getting off their ass and getting off their couch and coming out. You know, we played out forever and ever in all these different bands, and man, any show that we used to play, you know, 4 or 5 years ago, 300 minimum, always. Every Friday and Saturday, at least. You know, now, I mean, you're pushing, you know, if you can get, 30 people, holy shit, that's great, you know. And
It is getting fucking better, though.
And you guys got a great crowd. I mean, every time you play out.
There was some lean fucking years there, like probably 2002 through 4, you know, 3 good years there where, shit, we were lucky to get 30 or 40 people out tops.
Yeah.
And back in the day, you know, late 90s, it was fucking 400 every time, and now it's getting back. People are staying.
All right, man. Kicking back right here, F5. John Davis on guitar.
How's it going, man?
Right on. Excellent. Now, F5, what have you guys been doing lately?
Well, we just got off a U.S. summer tour, basically. Went well. And we're back. We're writing some new tunes and hopefully get into the studio and you know, demo some of it up, see what flies and what doesn't.
Money and no sex, or all the sex and no money?
Oh, all the sex and no money. Come on, man. That's a no-brainer. That wasn't stupid.
I'll take the money. John can have the checks. Write me the check.
Mm-hmm.
Checks or checks.
Yeah, right. That's what he thinks.
Checks or checks.
Cool. I mean, what do you like personally about the local Arizona music scene here?
I think there's a lot of clubs to play versus a lot of, you know, other cities don't have good local scenes. So there's always a revolving number of clubs in Phoenix that, you know, there's a lot of bands and a lot of places to play. You know, there's some towns that only have a couple good rock bars. This place has got a lot of them.
Now, if there was one thing you could change about the local Arizona music scene?
I don't think there's quite as much industry action here that, you know, it'd be nice if there was a little more. You know, like LA has a lot more industry people hanging around, so I think it'd be nice if there was a little more record company action around here.
Now, being successful in Megadeth, I mean, is there any advice that you could give to local Arizona bands out there trying to struggle hard and make it in the scene and what it takes to really get it going?
You know, I used to do local band stuff when I was a kid growing up in Minnesota, and we gigged around, you know, Iowa and Minnesota, South Dakota, you know, so I went out and I did a lot of that gigging. You know, the guys in F5, most of their experience has been only doing local and regional stuff. Part of me working with them in F5 is to educate them and to give them a chance at looking at a bigger picture and striking at a much higher vantage point than just doing the local thing, because I've been fortunate enough to not have to have been doing the local thing for a lot of years. And I still don't want F5. F5's not a local band, even though we're from Arizona.
It's kind of getting out there. Besides just playing here, it's getting out there in California, wherever, and taking yourself.
Yeah.
You can play here forever, but...
I mean, for me, I kind of view the stage as a global thing, and it's because I've had the experience of doing that. However, that said, you know, F5 can't always just go on a U.S. tour or go on a global tour, you know what I mean? So we have to gig around, and we like playing locally. We like playing here in Arizona as much as we can. It's pretty easy. We can get out, but you can only play places so long when you're a band like F5. Now, when it comes to some of the other musicians that are in the scene here, a lot of times, man, you got to play as much as you can to build as big of a buzz as you can, because the record industry looks at who's got a buzz, who's got a fan base, and, you know, are you selling, you know, a few thousand CDs on your own out of the back of your van, going around, schlepping it around, hitting, you know, and I'd say better, look, if you can get a regional or a national thing going, it's great. That's a lot to ask for somebody, a band that's probably not making a lot of money, and out there in their van and trailer trying to make it go, you know, trailer if you're lucky. You know what I mean? So sometimes you gotta just work it in your small little circle and try to build that to be something, you know, get radio on board, you know, and try to use whatever method you can to try to make a splash.
Question. What was it like working with Dave Mustaine?
You know, Dave I've always said he's cut from a different cloth, you know what I mean? And I mean that respectfully, because you know, when I first met him, he possessed all of the qualities of a world-class rock star, you know what I mean? I mean, being in a room with him was like being around David Lee Roth. You get to, I mean, he was just on a whole different level, you know? And then keep in mind, you know, I was in Los Angeles in 1983, so a lot of what was going around was Motley Crue, glam metal, hair metal, a lot of that kind of stuff was going on. So to run into someone like Dave was very refreshing, you know? A guy who, you know, thoroughly understood the new wave of British heavy metal and European metal. You know, he's very set in his ways, and he likes to do what he likes to do on his terms and his way, and, you know, that, you know, you have to be a flexible kind of person to work around that. You know what I mean? Because he leads the band, and that's the way it goes. You know, so it's kind of like you're either on that page or you're not. So, you know, I think I did pretty good at staying on that page. You know, but you know, look, I trusted him. You know, he's got a good gut instinct about what is right and wrong, what works, what doesn't, and you know, when he's just allowed to be who he wants to be, there's none better. He's great at it.
You know, just I like talent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, again, I repeat, somebody who gets on stage and they have the talent, even if nobody recognizes, I'd recommend to everybody, just put 110%, and I'll bet you, man, you always sooner or later will come back at you.
Nice.
Just be yourself and do the best you know how.
Right
That's
on.
it.
Well, Franco, back in the days, I played with Black Tongue and shit, and good stuff, man. Thanks a lot. Kicking it back with Franco here. Old school shit, man. Kick ass. Keep rocking out yourself,
and give
brother.
the young generation a chance, you know, to do their thing. Peace out.
Excellent. Here in Arizona, I mean, we got New Mexico bands, you know, coming down through Arizona to go to Vegas, or we got them coming from the Midwest through
Arizona to go to California. So this is really actually a really good hub, I believe, to check out a lot of good nationals just on tour on their way somewhere.
Absolutely. Arizona is a great place. I've been here a number of times hosting events for Slave to the Metal Tour, for a few other shows, and it seems that there's a pretty solid scene out here. The fans are really cool and really into the music, so I think this is a great place to breed more music and more metal as well. People are really into it here.
Yeah, definitely. It's good. It's a good place to be. Good place to be right now.
No, how do you go?
You're gonna edit this, right?
How do you go about booking bands here?
Pretty much. Well, I have a formal way and I have an informal way. The formal way is 99% of bands I get from out of town, they call me. I always ask them, get me a demo, so that I know how to put bands together. Because what I try to do is I try to piece a puzzle together. It's not just throwing bands together; it's putting a show on. And making a memorable experience for everybody. It's not, you got to. It's not just throwing bands together. And that's the one thing that when I went into business 7 years ago, the people in this town just do not know how to book shows, and they still do it. You'll see a rap band, a punk band, and a metal band in one night, and people wonder why their place is fucking dead all night. You gotta put
it's all about the mix.
You gotta put a show together. You gotta make it worthwhile, regardless if 10 people show up or 200 people show up. You gotta put a good show on for them so that people continue to come back because they know it's a good show.
With Megadeth, one of the craziest things when you're playing with Megadeth.
Oh, you want a story?
Yeah.
So our road manager comes in and says, "Dude, one of the Rolling Stones is upstairs and he wants to meet you." And so I freaked out when I figured out who it was. And Wild Horses was one of the tunes he played on. And so I run upstairs. And before I go, though, Dave goes, "Where are you going?" And I said, "Well, I gotta go upstairs and I want to meet, this guy that plays slide guitar on that tune." And he goes, "You're not going anywhere." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And I said, and he goes, "I'm going to go get it." I said, "I'm going to go get his autograph." And he goes, "He should come down here and get your autograph. You're a Megadeth." I just laughed. And I went upstairs, right? So Dave got really mad at me. So he comes up after me and Gar went up. Of course, Gar went up because Gar's the biggest Rolling Stones fan that ever lived. And we walk in, and we're like, "Hey, man." And so we, whatever we got from the pharmacy, we pulled our bottles out and went, "You too?" And we all laughed. And anyway, Dave walks in and he said, "What's going on? I'm Dave Mustaine. I'm Megadeth." And we all just went, "Whoa." So I said, "All right, well, anyway, it was a really pleasure meeting you." And his girlfriend was in bed with him, and they were not feeling very well. But anyway, so we split, and Dave comes back down to the room, and he's totally pissed. And we're all totally drunk on sake, too, trying to get this monkey off our back, right? And next thing I know, me and Dave get in a huge fight, and a TV flies out the 17th floor of the Prince Hotel, and the wall, the bedboard for the two beds goes right through the wall, and the toilet gets broken off right off the floor, and the army comes. The army's coming up the front walkway of the Prince Hotel, and we have all these interpreters that that are like our guys that we so the main interpreter for our road manager was running out to the front of the Prince Hotel, and the army guy goes bam and knocks him out. So the promoter comes running up and goes, no, everything's okay. And luckily, they said he was a huge promoter in Japan. Like if anybody played Japan, that guy brought him there, and he just talked the army into walking away. Luckily, they did. And of course, the next day they were like, "Hey, dude, sorry."
No. Is there any advice, yourself in lines of bands, out there struggling and trying to make it, that would be an advice to local bands and what it takes to actually get out there?
There's no secret, and it's really hard. I mean, you have to really love it, and you have to be willing to just do what you got to do to make it happen. I just stumbled into Megadeth. It's not like I had this big master plan.
Ronnie from Rainbow and whatnot.
Yeah, right, sure.
Had you met him before that or anything, or just no?
First met Ronnie. Ronnie came. I was just telling you the end of the story. I talked to Fergie. I talked to Richie. They say, "When are you playing next?" I said, "I'm playing at the Marquee Club Sunday night." He says, "Well, we're coming over to see you." And I went, "You're coming from LA to see me play with my band at the Marquee?"
Awesome.
And Sunday, I told my band, I said, "Oh, Richie Blackmore's coming to see me on Sunday." They went, "Oh, yeah, right, sure." Sunday night, I went down to the gig, went into the bar just up the street. There's Richie Blackmore, Ronnie Dio, Fergie, the guy who called me.
Right.
And Bruce Payne, the manager of Rainbow, all in the bar.
Sure,
you know?
yeah.
And so, of course, my band, 2 guitar players and a drummer, they all freaked out, right? They all played like crap, you know, that night, you know. The drummer threw it.
Naturally,
You know, the drummer threw up over his kit, you know.
Oh, yeah.
The
Oh,
guitar
that's
players
classic.
couldn't play shit, you know. So at the end of the night, I'm all embarrassed and say, you know, I have to go face the music. I go up to the bar, talk to Richie. I said, "I'm sorry, man, you came all this way to see me, and my band really sucked." He said,
Yeah.
Richie said to me, he said, "They made you look great."
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say a lot of times that doesn't matter, dude. It's the talent itself that
2 weeks later, I was in
speaks
LA.
for itself. You know.
Do you have any advice that you could give to some of these unsigned bands out there, you know, trying to break into the industry and trying to make it in the scene?
Well, I don't. Are you talking about trying to get a record deal or something? I mean, as far as a band is concerned, I think you have to rehearse more than you play. I think you have to rehearse like it's a show. If your goal is to just hang out and party with your friends, and do that, but don't expect anything serious to come of what you're trying to do.
Put a full force.
Sure.
go
I mean,
for it, make it
I
your
don't.
life.
I don't want a surgeon coming to do surgery on me, some sort of procedure, you know, baked or drunk off his ass. You know, and I don't see any difference between creating art and you know, being a doctor or anything. I mean, I think hard work and taking it serious is something that's very, you know, we've become a generation of people who believe that American Idol is the way, and you walk into a room and you sing and suddenly all of your dreams come true, and that's absolutely absurd.
A lot of hard work, a lot of dedication.
And now we have Rock Band, and we have all these other video games that allow you to pretend to be these people when, in fact, you know, a lot of cats don't even know what, you know, more than a chord anymore, you know, to play.
Right.
You know, so I just think that, you know, take it seriously. Be a writer, be a songwriter, be a better, you know, guitar player, be a better drummer, be whatever. But, you know,
Do
take
your
it
best.
seriously. Sure.
Right now, if you had all the money in the world and no sex, or all the sex you could have and no money, what would you take?
Weed!
Fuck yeah! Okay, as a band here in Bloodhaven, what is one thing that sticks out in your mind that's happened at this show that got down and sick and crazy?
We did a show a couple of years ago where we tore up a couple of Bibles and threw them out to the crowd because we like to do funny stuff, and it came back and landed at my feet on fire. That's when I knew I'd seen it all.
Is there any advice that you could give any of these local bands or artists out there trying to, you know, get a record deal, trying to make it here in the business?
Yeah, the best advice that I try, like when people ask me, you know, what do you think, you know, about the music business now, or whatever, you know, it's really kind of, it's really popular to be an artist and go, well, it's not like it used to be. Well, you know, for us it wasn't like it was for the Beastie Boys, and for the Beastie Boys it wasn't like it was for Elvis. So everybody's had their own generation in the music business, and it's always constantly changed, whether it be the 8-track and the cassette or the CD. So the one piece of advice that I could give new artists is don't get caught up in the hype, man. Don't get caught up in all the bullshit of the business, all the money aspect of it, all the, you know, we draw this well and we do this. And I see that a lot amongst all the bands nowadays. I see it more prevalent than ever. The one thing that never goes out of style, no matter what you're wearing, you know, that'll go out of style. No matter what chick you're banging, she'll go out of style. No matter what, you know, your car you're driving, it'll go out of style. But the one thing that never goes out of style in the music business is good songs. So just write good songs. Try to write the best songs that you know how to write, and make sure that you're representing the songs that you want to represent. Because at the end of the day, when you get pissed off, you get in or you have a great day, it's because of, you know, those songs that you can get up and keep rocking. So you got to make those. I know it sounds kind of stupid, but that's really the thing, because the songs make the music.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
All right, man. Thanks a lot, Joe.
You would think that I'm drinking this, but no. Actually, I'm not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trade it, and we're going to give it to him. It's on you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Right on. Right on. Cool.
Happy 420.
Yeah, happy 420 for sure. All right, hey Joe.
No way. I'm gonna
420.
420, yeah,
show
not
here.
421, not
And you guys
419.
are going on what, a little bit later tonight or
Yeah,
what?
we're going on at midnight because
Nice,
it's 420 for us all the time, so we gotta let the people party on 420, and then at 12 o'clock we come and extend the 420.
Yeah,
we extend it because we're always 420.
Yeah, exactly.
Permanently stuck on that.
Right on, dude.
420.
And right on.
Oh yeah, baby.
You were dancing in the cage earlier.
I was dancing in a cage earlier.
And you did a great job. Let me
Oh,
say.
did I?
Looking good.
Can I look at? Can I look at your lens?
Oh yeah. Right on. Cool. Hey, what's your name anyways?
Here's what it's about, baby. Heavy metal in pursuit of it.
That's it. Peace, brothers.
Turn the light off on that.
Oh, sorry, man.
I'm gonna tell you again, okay? Turn the light off.
Sorry.
You understand?
No
Turn the
problem.
light off.
Oh, just this whole music just gets me going. So remember, support your local music scene, get it out there, and this has been Monsoon Radio's Hot as Hell.
Rattlesnakes and flames across the desert plains. The eagle flies majestic in the sky. The spirit will make you love the red rocks bathed in blood, and the land where so many warriors have died. Above in Arizona skies, from the fires of hell, like the phoenix your soul will rise. Arizona, take me home. Some say the heat's too much in the valley of the sun, but it's a place we're proud to call home. The sun sets every night, watching canvases go by, each painted by the Great Spirit's hands. Above